Nathan, Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to you.
Dude, just keep it down.
It is the dawn of a new year.
It is.
And here at TFL Car, we're lucky enough to drive brand new 2013 cars. And this is our annual most fun to drive car show. So Nathan, what do you think the top 10 most fun to drive cars of 2013 are?
I gotta say, the Mustang. I really had a good time with that one. I believe that's in part 1.
You are correct, sir. Coming up next on the Fast Lane Car, the 2013 most fun to drive cars, part 1. All right, Nathan, here it is. I would wager this is the most anticipated car of the year, the Scion FRS, because it heralds the return of the front-engined, rear-wheel drive, affordable sports car. Do you agree?
Absolutely. This is a vehicle that if you like going around corners, if you actually enjoy having a ride that you can feel, this is the car. It's the right car.
And it's fun. Come as we rock this car in the Red Rocks. Told you, we weren't kidding. This car draws a lot of attention, even from the people from the home country.
From the middle of a desert. Fun? Hell yeah! This is a great performing car, but the magic is actually here under the hood. Very interesting setup. You get 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque out of a boxer engine. You're used to seeing these in Subarus, but this is an all-new engine jointly designed with Toyota. Here's the interesting part. Because it's a boxer design, going side to side with the pistons as opposed to up and down like your conventional engine, it can sit really, really low in the chassis, and it creates excellent weight distribution. So in terms of cornering and handling, cojones! It's got serious cojones.
When you get next to it, you realize that this is a very small car. In fact, it's an inch shorter than the Z. One of the things that makes it so much fun to drive that it's light, just under 2,800 pounds, and the ass is a little bit lighter. 53% of the weight up front, 47% in the back. That means you can hang this thing out and slide it around with a boat. The downside, it looks a little bit like the BRZ, but the upside to that is both cars are handsome, in my opinion. Yes, it has a back seat, and
we don't frickin' fit.
This is probably more for occasional utility and insurance purposes.
You could put kids back here.
Certainly not for human use.
Not at all.
Not for these humans, at least.
Woo! In the desert, no less. Try as I might, I wasn't able to get into the back, into the trunk, without lowering the rear seats. Fortunately, they do go down. Not a lot of space, but with the rear seats down, you could probably fit in one golf bag and one fat guy. Whew.
The badge right here, the 86 badge, which shows the horizontally opposed pistons, really comes from the boxer engine. But the 86, the core of this logo is an 8 and a 6, and that really comes from the car. There's over my shoulder over here, and that's the AE86 or the Corolla GT, which most fans know by as the name is the Hachiroku. Really, the core of that car, this perfect balanced car, that heritage is what really drove kind of the guts and the core and really the spirit of this car.
Are you ready to see how fast this will go to 60?
Yeah, with 2 guys in it, big guys.
2 big guys. Okay, hold on. It's going to tell you when. Go. Little bog. Come on. Oh yeah, nice second shift. Here comes third, and here comes 60. All right, there we go. Let's see what the official results are, my friend. What do you think?
Oh, 8.2.
7.8 seconds.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I know a car can be faster, but remember, we're 2 big guys in here, and this is a real world test. Not bad.
I know that most of you will never take this car on the track, but if you do, you gotta drift it because I get it. I've always looked at drifting as kind of the synchronized swimming of the race car world, but when you're behind the wheel instead of in the grandstand, it is just a hoot.
The FRS kicks ass.
It says to you, come on, give me more, give me more. Show me what you can do because I'm gonna make you the fastest guy in this track. And that's how I feel. I feel like a superstar in this car. And you know what? Is that worth $25,000? You bet it's worth $25,000 and probably a lot more. There are some things wrong with this car.
Absolutely.
My biggest complaint initially is that it doesn't look anything like the show car. I was in New York when they rolled that out and I was blown away. And while this is good, it could be great.
That's absolutely true. Here's another problem. The BRZ from Subaru, they look exactly the same or nearly identical. I mean, they really need to look different and they don't.
In my mind, the elephant in the room is that the Abarth is charming, the Mustang is powerful, and the GTI is precise. These are cars that potentially compete with the FRS. This car, it's a little bit sterile. You know, it does everything well, but there's a lack of engagement, a lack of charm that I wish I could discover in this new Scion. Hey Nathan, here's an interesting fact. Did you know that the stick shift we're driving actually gets worse gas mileage than the automatic?
That's interesting. This one, manual, gets 25 miles per gallon combined. It's not too bad.
Whereas the automatic gets 25 city and 34 on the highway, which is actually very good for a car that has 200 horsepower. All right, Nathan, we've taken it on the road, on the highway, and of course on the track. So after all that, what do you think of this Toyobaru?
Toyobaru.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, Toyobaru.
It's a fantastic car. It was great on the track. It did really well on the back roads and even in the city. It was fantastic.
And it's balanced, as much as I hate to say that.
I hate to hear it.
And you know what? It's one of those rare instances where this ugly term called chassis sharing actually makes the car better. I'm glad that Toyota and Subaru got together.
They made a wise decision because it's a great car to drive.
You know, there are really only 4 components that make a good race car: brakes, steering, power, and weight. And this car has all 4 of those. And to my mind, that's what makes it such a perfectly balanced car. But, and this is a big but, I still want more power because I know that my big toe can control the amount of power, and when I'm on a racetrack, there is no substitute for power, and 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque, while it may be perfectly balanced, it's not perfectly adequate, at least not for me.
The FRS is intense because I'm deliberately driving poorly and it doesn't care. It's basically saying, hey dude, I'm gonna make you a better driver. And that's exactly what it's doing. No matter how I push the tail out, how hard I hit the brakes, how absolutely incorrect I go around any corner, it doesn't matter. It's gonna let me do it and it's gonna say, hey, you know what? I'll push your butt out a little bit, but then I'm gonna help you get it all back.
There is more technology built into my seat than in the entire verse of the day just reviewed. It has 3 levels of cooling, 3 levels of heating. It has 4 levels of massage. It has side bolsters that push against my side every time I make a turn. It has about 80 different adjustments, and best of all, it has 3 levels of air scarf that blows across my neck on a chilly night. Once upon a time, actually not that long ago, a fine horse was a sign of wealth, power, and prestige. Today, not so much. Today it's this. Check it out. The brand new 2013 Mercedes-Benz SL. And we're going to take it for a ride and review it. Coming up next on the Fast Lane Car. This Mercedes Sportlicht SL, or Sport Light, is not exactly light. But it does encompass 3 traits that make it a halo car for Mercedes, and those are power, prestige, and technology. So let's start with power. For over 60 years, the SL has been in continuous production. And during those years, Mercedes has stuffed about every possible engine under the hood. And by far my favorite is this V8 4.6 liter that produces over 500 pound-feet of torque. And get this, gets 19 miles to the gallon combined, which means that it avoids the gas guzzler tax of the last generation. Pretty cool and crazy fast. You know, it's not the 429 horsepower that's going to rocket this car to 60. It's the 516 pound-feet of torque and the twin turbos. And let's see how fast we can get this to 60. Can we do it in under 5 seconds? The car magazines say it's just around 4. I think we can do it. Here we go. Oh, Solo DL working. Here we go. That's 60. Oh, yes, indeed. 2 people in the car, real world testing. 4.80. Now that is fast. That is seriously fast. I guess for 120,000, you're gonna get fast. From this angle, in my opinion, it looks downright frumpy. In fact, it looks like it was designed by a committee, maybe 3 different people. Franz did the front, Heidi did the middle and the interior, and Hans did the back. Not good. From this angle, it's mean, menacing, and elegant, and that's a hard combination to pull off. And of course, with this giant star, you'll never be in doubt as to who builds this car. Start your stopwatches. Mercedes says 15 seconds for the top to come down. That's pretty darn quick. And now look at that. We've got the glorious outside, inside. With my finger, I push sport, and all of a sudden, this car's suspension adjusts within a millisecond to the driving conditions. In other words, if I'm flying around this turn, which I'm going to do right now, oh, you gotta love that torque. It is completely flat and neutral. All right, some reviewers have called the steering a little numb, the braking a little non-linear, and you know, I can see that. This is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. However, it's not supposed to be. It's not a race car. It's a GT, and for that, I think the balance, the steering, and even the braking are fine. If you want a car that's better looking than this SL that competes with it, definitely go for the Aston Martin. If you want one that performs better, go for the Porsche 911. If you want one with available all-wheel drive, get the BMW 650. And if you want one with a better exhaust note and that British panache, go for the Jaguar XKR. However, if you want one that does everything all around, go for the SL. You didn't think you'd be bothered to open the trunk yourself, did you? Of course not. It's a Mercedes SL, but there is a fly in the ointment, and it's this stupid cover. Basically, it protects your stuff when the top is down. But if you get it wrong, like this, not quite in place, watch this. Nothing happens. The trunk won't close, the roof won't open, the roof won't close. It's like something out of a Kia from 10 years ago. Not good at all. Close, says me. I have never driven a car with so much technology. The skin is aluminum. The roof, to save weight, is magnesium. Every creature comfort that you can think of is in the car, including heated and cooled seats, and of course, the air scarf, which blows a gentle breeze on your neck when the nights get chilly. And perhaps the biggest party trick, magic sky control. Check it out. With a touch of a button, the sunroof turns clear, and with a touch of a button, it turns opaque. How cool is that? So yeah, the horse is still a sign of power, wealth, and prestige, and so is this Mercedes. On the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm gonna have to give it a buy it, because 429 horsepower, and better yet, 516 pound-feet of torque will always put a huge smile on my face. You'd be hard pressed to find a better definition of muscle car than the Ford Mustang GT. Wouldn't you agree, Nathan?
Absolutely. Since 1964 and a half, they've been out there on the roads with a V8 under the hood and rear drive and a manual transmission optional. I mean, that's what you really want, is a cheap light car with a big fat V8 inside of it.
And therein lies the rub. At $41,000, it's no longer a cheap car, and yet inside, it's still kind of cheap.
I don't give a rat's ass how cheap it is. It's a great car on the outside, and it feels wonderful.
For 2013, Ford took a page out of the SEMA Customizer's handbook and added these really cool and sharp LED lights to the front, and in the back, they kind of did a better job integrating the sequential taillights. There will be no doubt in anyone's mind when they see this car in the rearview mirror that you are in a Mustang.
Listen to this. Oh my God. Isn't it worth it to spend a little extra money to have that much joy every day? Muscle cars are awesome, and this one really is the foundation of muscle cars, even today. This puts out 420 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. Great engine. The ride is not too bad. I could drive it every day and be comfortable. The Recaro seats, they take some getting used to, but they're not too bad. Steering, probably the best example that Ford has right now in their entire fleet.
Alright, go for it. Alright, a little wheel spin. Solo DL is going. Car kicks me in the ass, second gear wheel spin. And there we have it! Alright. What do you think that was?
Under 7.
Yep, 6.14, 297 feet to get to 60.
Six-speed manual, pretty damn good.
Nathan, I have right here the car's sticker. 15 miles to the gallon in the city.
Okay, but 26 miles per gallon on the highway. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it does have a combined MPG of 19, which for 420 horsepower, all right, props. I'm gonna give it to Ford on the engine.
It's freaking good is what it is. Finally, there is a problem. Steering wheel. It doesn't telescope. Now, I know that's not a big deal to a lot of you, but for people who actually have long arms, or maybe even short arms, having a telescoping steering wheel would be nice. Everybody else has it.
I know some people have long gorilla-like arms, but I have long legs, and in terms of competition, in a heartbeat, I would buy the Challenger because there's room in the back seat for adult like me.
Yeah, you know what, and in the front seat, frankly, it is a really roomy car, and I won't put it down for a moment. It's a wonderful, wonderful machine. And so is the Camaro. I can't get over how hot that car looks. The thing is that they all have some very interesting attributes. This particular car has better outward vision, it's smaller, it's fleet of foot, it feels more tossable. It's hard for me to choose one great one out of all of them.
I mean, I get the whole muscle car thing, but I still don't see 41K worth of car here.
Let me show you 41,000. Are you watching, people?
All right, I'll give you this. Some of you may see a priceless burnout, an 11, if you will, on the ground. Me, I see some very expensive Pirellis going up in smoke.
Okay, many people know about this, but one thing that Ford is kept with is the archaic, very old live rear axle. And
oh, for God's sakes, let it be already. We all know it has a live axle, been there, done that. Oh God, yeah, it's got one.
You take all my fun away, you know that.
Oh my, this, my friends, is the brand new 2013 Chevy Corvette Grand Sport in Arctic white with the special diamond blue interior. Here are 3 fun technology facts that you may not know about. You know, when I first got into this Corvette, I absolutely hated it. It felt like something out of 1970. The interior was very, well, old-fashioned would be kind, and you know, it's the kind of car that old guys with less hair than I have tend to drive. But now that I've been driving it for a week, I am in love with the car, and here's why. Now I'm sure you know that Corvettes are made of a lightweight material. Very lightweight, in fact. But this one, this is the Grand Sport. The frame is wider, the body is wider, the tires are wider, and the road presence is wider. I parked it next to a Jaguar the other day when I went to get some pizza, and everybody's eye was on this Corvette. Now these vents, stick my hand in there because they're real and they're unique to the Grand Sport. Basically they're cooling vents for the massive front brake calipers. This is a standard Corvette LS3 engine. On the website it says that it puts out 430 horsepower, but on the car sticker it says 436. How can that be? I'll tell you in a second. The answer is back here because this Corvette has a special performance exhaust system. There are these little butterfly valves back here that open and close at about 4,000 RPM. Check it out. Did you see them open? Because when they open, you get an additional 6 horsepower and 4 more pound-feet of torque. And actually, you can hear the difference. It sounds phenomenal. Watch as Dave accelerates from 0 to 60. Hey, can you guess what anniversary edition this is? Could it be the 60th? Now, normally I'm not a big fan of these anniversary cars because it means that the manufacturer is building a special edition because they're swapping platforms, trying to get the most money out of the current tooling. But you know, this one really works. I like the blue interior, I like the special steering wheel, I like all of the badging. Could it be that I'm getting old? All right, here's the crazy part. This Corvette has 325 R19s in the back. Those tires are like steamrollers. They're super wide and not very tall. In other words, race car tires. Which would normally mean that the ride would be harsh and uncompromising, but great performance. And here's the cool part. It also has GM's magnetic ride control. With this switch over here, I can select the ride from sport to touring. And it actually works. In touring mode, I can cruise all day. When I put in sport mode, it completely changes the character of the car. Super flat, super precise, and just super fun to drive, and very trackable if you're one of those people who wants to take it on the track. Nathan calls it instant Viagra. You know what? I'm just gonna show you. Check this out. I call that one of the best handling sports cars that you can buy. It's that simple. Remember those butterfly valves? 4,000 RPM? Wait for it, guys. Here it comes. Now that is American muscle. Coming up next in the Fast Lane car, we have a very, very special speedy tech demo. And I've got a question for Nathan. Nathan, what car has 550 horsepower, is made mostly of aluminum, and used to belong to Ford?
Oh, I'm thinking the Jaguar XKR-S.
Exactly.
Yes!
Look behind.
502 pound-feet of torque. Ah!
At the heart of this beast, and I know it's a bad pun, but it's a Jaguar, is the most powerful engine the Jaguar has ever put in a street-going car. Isn't that right, Nathan?
That's right, baby. And not only that, this 5-liter has an interesting bit of tech because it's supercharged.
And we love superchargers up here at altitude because they make up for the loss of power.
I'll go up to 186 miles an hour. And that torque, that's really something that you feel when you drive, especially up here at altitude. You're not gonna lose a lot of power because of the supercharger, and you just feel that instantaneous thrust. It's not like a turbo where we have to wait for it to spool up or you have some lag. That power's just always there, ready to hit hard. The idea with this car is that you should be able to start in England, drive to Germany to the Nürburgring, be comfortable and relaxed when you get there, but then lay down a wicked lap time on the round of the Nürburgring, under 9 minutes. And and then just get back in and drive home and feel refreshed as when you started. It really is the ultimate like gentleman's express.
Woo! Look at these lines. And it's not just good looking, it's functional. The car's mostly aluminum, but on top of that, carbon fiber used throughout, especially with the front end, splitter, and over there in the back, the tail. And it's 600 pounds lighter, if it were the convertible, than the convertible 6 Series. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean the whole car itself is lightweight aluminum, so the aluminum construction itself means the car can accelerate faster, brake shorter, handle better. But then when we wanted to add the aerodynamic add-ons to the ends of the car, where the aerodynamics have the most effect, so real carbon fiber on the front splitter, the rear spoiler, the rear diffuser, contributes to 26% lift at speed. So in other words, your car's not going to take off like an airplane when you're hitting 186 miles an hour.
It is expensive though, right? $2,000 if you ding that up.
$2,000, that's why you use those front parking sensors whenever you pull into a parking spot, because you don't want to be nicking that on a curb.
You've probably heard of AI, that stands for artificial intelligence. Well, this car doesn't have artificial intelligence, but it has something very similar. It actually reads the road surface 500 times a second, predicting what the road surface will be, in effect giving you the ability to change the suspension setting. In regular mode, it's a comfortable GT car. If you put it in super secret sport mode, it's a race car.
What some people call, we call it active differential. It's a predictive system. So it's not reacting to a difference in torque across the wheels. It's actually looking at your steering input, how fast you're going. It's looking at how much grip it's getting on the road surface, and actually sending the power to the wheel that has the most grip, and also helping you tighten your line in a corner, help you retain control. But because it's an electronic system, it can then remove all locking when you're just driving around a parking lot, so you don't get that kind of like juddery lockup feeling.
You know, Nathan, the Jaguar XKR-S competes with cars like the Porsche 911, the Mercedes SL, and the car you mentioned, the BMW 650.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Is it better? We don't quite know yet, but I'll tell you this. Aesthetically, you can't argue. It's gorgeous.
So hopefully Jaguar will give us one to review. Hint, hint.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And how much does all that goodness cost?
The coupe here, $132.
$132. So you got to save up your pennies if you want to get into the ultimate XK.
Jaguar.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, huh? I liked it. I especially thought that Roman had a love affair with that Mercedes.
I did. That was and is the fastest car we've tested up here at 1 mile above sea level. Yeah. But you know what, Nathan? That's only 5, and we always pick 10 cars.
Stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.